Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt your heart race as a single green candle begins to stretch across your screen? You weren't planning to trade. You were just watching. But then, the speed changes. The ticker begins to flash faster. The numbers change with a violence you didn't expect. And a voice inside your mind, a voice that sounds like your own, but isn't, whispers, "If you don't enter now, you will miss the move of the year." In that exact moment, logic disappears. Rules you spent months writing vanish. Your trading plan becomes nothing more than a piece of paper. And later, when the trade is finished, when the red numbers are staring back at you, you quietly ask yourself, "Why did I do that?" This is not stupidity. This is not a lack of technical knowledge. This is FOMO, a force older than money, older than markets, older than the very concept of a chart. Until you understand the chemistry of this urge, no strategy, no matter how profitable, will save you. In the next few minutes, we are going to deconstruct your mind. We will look at why your brain panics under speed, why intelligent people abandon discipline for a feeling, and how the elite 1% have learned to find peace in the very moments where you feel urgency. This is not a lecture about indicators. It is about who you become when money is on the line. Stay with me. Because once you see this clearly, you will never experience the market the same way again. Part 1. The biology of the ancient brain. We often blame our weakness for chasing trades. But FOMO is not a flaw. It is survival programming. For 99% of human history, we did not live in cities with grocery stores. We lived in tribes. In that world, missing the movement of the herd meant starvation. Missing a signal of danger meant death. Being left behind by the group meant isolation, and isolation was a death sentence. Your nervous system evolved to do three things: to react fast, to follow movement, and to copy the group. When you sit at your desk today, looking at a 1-minute chart of Bitcoin or gold, your brain does not see price data. It sees a moving object. A fast candle is perceived by your amygdala as a threat or a gathering. Your body begins to pump cortisol. Your pupils dilate. Your blood moves from your prefrontal cortex, where logic lives, to your limbs. You are literally prepared to fight or flight, but you are just sitting in a chair. This is why education alone is never enough. You can read 10 books on trading, but when the threat of a fast move appears, your biology takes over your biography. Think of the tulip mania of the 1630s. Doctors, lawyers, and chimney sweeps alike sold their homes for a single flower bulb. Were they stupid? No. Their ancient brains saw a crowd move and concluded that staying still was the greatest risk of all. They weren't buying flowers, they were fleeing the fear of being left behind. Part 2. The illusion of urgency and the last chance trap. Markets manufacture urgency. But I want you to hear this clearly. Urgency is not a market condition. It is a sensation in your chest. Speed creates an illusion of rarity. Your brain assumes, this may never happen again. But the market is a machine that generates infinite patterns. There will always be another trade, another session, another year of opportunity. Consider the retail trader who sees a breakout. The price is already up 5%. The logical mind says, wait for a retest. The FOMO mind says, what if there is no retest? What if it goes to the moon right now? This is the end of the world bias. Traders act as if the current candle is the last piece of liquidity on Earth. But look at a chart from 10 years ago. Look at the vertical moves that felt so urgent then. They are now just tiny blips in a sea of data. Professionals understand a secret that retail will never accept. Urgency is a liquidity signal. When the masses feel they must enter now, that is exactly where the big money is looking to exit. Your urgency is their exit strategy. Part 3. The Dopamine Addiction. Dopamine is often misunderstood as the pleasure chemical. It is not. Dopamine is the chemical of anticipation. When price begins to run, your brain isn't rewarding you for making money. It is rewarding you for imagining the profit. The dream of the win is more addictive than the win itself. This is why chasing a trade feels exciting, while following a boring plan feels like work. If you trade for excitement, you are not a trader. You are a gambler who uses charts as an excuse. The professional trader seeks clarity, not dopamine. Let's look at a common mistake, the revenge trade. You miss a move. You feel the sting of FOMO. To fix the feeling, you enter a worse position with double the size. You aren't trying to make money anymore, you are trying to stop the chemical pain in your brain. You are trading against your own biology. Part 4. The Waiting Room of Jesse Livermore. There is a reason that greats are remembered not for their calls, but for their character. Jesse Livermore, perhaps the most famous trader in history, once said, "The big money is not in the buying or selling, but in the waiting." Think about that. In a world of high-frequency trading and 24/7 news, the edge is waiting. Livermore made millions when he sat still. But he lost everything when he let the noise of the crowd dictate his actions. Every time he abandoned his patience. FOMO destroyed his discipline. Markets punish impatience far more severely than they punish ignorance. Part 5. The Gravity of Social Proof. We are social creatures. For thousands of years, the consensus was the truth. If the whole tribe ran toward the river, you didn't ask why. You ran. Because those who stopped to ask, "Is there really a predator?" were the ones who didn't survive to become our ancestors. In the modern world, this survival instinct has a new name: social proof. You open your phone. You see a screenshot of a 500% gain. You see a blue Telegram notification. You see a YouTube thumbnail with a shocked face and a giant green arrow. Your brain equates this popularity with safety. It assumes that because everyone is winning, the risk must be low. But the market is the only place on earth where the majority must be wrong for the system to function. The market is a mechanism designed to extract wealth from the crowd and deliver it to the individual. When the noise is loudest, the danger is highest. When your Twitter feed is full of certainty, the market is preparing a trap. Professionals understand that silence is a signal. The elite do not post their entries while they are in them. They do not seek validation from strangers. They operate in the shadows, away from the heat of the crowd. Let me tell you about the retail peak. It happens when the taxi driver, the barber, and your cousin all start talking about the same stock. This happened in 1929. It happened in the dot-com bubble of 2000. It happened with crypto in 2021. FOMO is the fuel that the smart money uses to exit their positions. When you feel the urge to join the crowd, ask yourself, am I the hunter, or am I the liquidity? Part 6. Patience is not waiting, IT is dominance. Most people think patience is a lack of action. They are wrong. Patience is active restraint. It is the hunter sitting in the tall grass for 6 hours, watching 10 different deer pass by, because none of them are the right deer. The amateur trader is like a hungry hunter who shoots at the first thing that moves. They miss. They make noise. And they go home empty-handed. Warren Buffett, one of the most patient men in history, once said, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Buffett doesn't trade every day. Sometimes, he doesn't trade for years. He understands that missing a trade does not hurt your account balance. 0 is a neutral number. But overtrading, chasing a move because you're bored or scared of being left behind, that is what creates the red hole in your equity curve. Think of the gap between the signal and the entry. The amateur sees the signal and jumps immediately. The professional sees the signal, waits for the candle to close, waits for the volume to confirm, and only then, with cold, clinical intent, do they click the button. Patience is a skill you must practice when the markets are closed. If you cannot be patient in your life, if you cannot wait for a seat at a restaurant, or wait for a slow car to pass, you will never be patient in front of a 5-minute chart. Your trading is a reflection of your character. Part 7. Risk thinking is the cure. There's one single thought that can kill FOMO instantly. It is not, how much can I make? It is, how much am I willing to lose to see if this idea is right? Paul Tudor Jones, a billionaire who made his fortune while others were panicking, said, "I'm always thinking about losing money." When you focus on the profit, you activate the dopamine system. You become a dreamer. And dreamers get slaughtered in the markets. But when you focus on the risk, you activate the logical brain. If you see a price running away from you, and you feel that itch to click buy, stop. Look at where your stop loss would have to be. If the price has moved 2% already, your stop is now too wide. Your risk-to-reward ratio is broken. By focusing on the math of the loss, the glamour of the gain disappears. The professional doesn't see a great opportunity. They see a probabilistic setup with defined risk. If the risk is not defined, there is no trade. Period. Hope is the first sign of a failing trader. FOMO is just hope in a hurry. Part 8. The Hall of Shame, Trading Disasters. History is a graveyard of brilliant people who were buried by a single moment of urgency. Intelligence is no shield against FOMO. In fact, the more intelligent you are, the better you are at lying to yourself about why you are chasing a move. The scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. Consider Sir Isaac Newton. One of the smartest human beings to ever live. A man who understood the laws of gravity and the motion of the planets. In 1720, there was a massive speculative bubble known as the South Sea Company. Newton invested early and made a healthy profit. He exited the market. He was safe. But then, the price continued to rise. He watched his friends, men far less intelligent than him, get richer by the day. The voice began to whisper. The biological pressure of the tribe moving away from him became unbearable. At the very peak of the bubble, Newton crashed back into the market with almost his entire fortune. The bubble burst. Newton lost nearly all of his wealth, the equivalent of millions of dollars today. His epitaph for that moment remains a warning for every trader. I can calculate the motion of the heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. The modern ruin, the revenge of the missed move. Think of the trader in 2021 who watched Bitcoin go from $20,000 to $60,000. They watched for months. They were disciplined. They told themselves it was too high. But the social proof became a physical weight. Every news cycle, every tweet, every conversation at dinner was about the new paradigm. Finally, at $64,000, The pain of being left behind became greater than the fear of losing money. They bought the top. When the price dropped to $30,000, they didn't sell. They held in hope. This is the cycle of FOMO, impulse euphoria terror paralysis. Part 9, the identity shift, amateur versus professional. To stop feeling FOMO, you must stop being who you are today. You must undergo an identity shift. The amateur and the professional look at the same chart, but they see two different universes. The amateur identity. The amateur trades to feel something. They are action junkies. A day without a trade feels like a day wasted. They view the market as a giant ATM that is occasionally broken. When they miss a move, they feel like something has been stolen from them. Their self-worth is tied to the P&L, profit and loss, of the last 5 minutes. The professional identity. The professional trades to express a process. They are risk managers who happen to trade. A day without a trade is a day of successful discipline. They view the market as a chaotic ocean, and they are merely fishermen with a specific net. If the fish don't swim into the net, the fisherman does not jump into the water and try to catch them with his hands. He waits. The professional asks 3 questions before every click. Does this setup match my historical edge? Is the risk defined and acceptable to my soul? If this trade loses, will I still be at peace? If the answer to any of these is no, they let the price run. They watch it go to the moon without them, and they feel nothing. Because they know that a win outside of your rules is actually a long-term loss. It teaches your brain that breaking rules works. And that is the most dangerous lesson a trader can learn. Part 10, Accepting Uncertainty. Mark Douglas, the great teacher of trading psychology, taught us the ultimate truth: anything can happen. FOMO is born from the belief that you know what is going to happen next. You think the price must go higher, so you rush in. But if you truly accept that the next candle is a random event, why would you ever rush? You do not control the market. You do not control the outcome. The only thing you control is the behavior. You control the entry. You control the size. You control the exit. When you release the need to be right, FOMO dies. When you release the need to catch every move, you become free. The market will be here tomorrow. It will be here in 10 years. Your only job is to ensure that you and your capital are also here. Part 11, Stoicism at the Charts, the Wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius sat in a tent on the edge of a battlefield. He wasn't trading markets, but he was trading lives, time, and empire. The philosophy he practiced, Stoicism, is the ultimate cure for the modern trader. The Stoic knows there is a line drawn through the center of the universe. On one side are the things you cannot control, what the price does next. The news from the Federal Reserve. The manipulation of big banks. Whether the trade you just took wins or loses. On the other side are the things you can control, your reaction to the price, your position size, your decision to follow or ignore your plan. The moment you walk away from the screen. FOMO lives entirely in the uncontrollable side of the line. It is an obsession with the outcome. But the elite trader lives only on the controllable side. They realize that a good trade is not a trade that makes money. A good trade is a trade where you followed your rules. Even if it hits your stop loss, it was a victory of character. Every time you feel FOMO, say to yourself, this move is outside of my control. My discipline is within my control. I choose my discipline. Part 12, the cost of the almost win. The most dangerous drug in the market is the almost win. You almost caught the bottom. You almost made $10,000. This almost creates a psychological debt. You feel like the market owes you that profit. This is why traders chase. They aren't trying to make new money, they are trying to reclaim the money they never actually had. But the market owes you nothing. It doesn't know you exist. It doesn't care about your almost or your should have. Release the debt. Start every session at zero. Not just in your account, but in your mind. Part 13, the Observer Meditation. Close your eyes if you are in a safe place. If you are driving, simply soften your gaze and expand your peripheral vision. Imagine you are standing on a bridge, looking down at a vast, fast-flowing river. Each wave in that river is a market move. A green surge. A red waterfall. On the bank of the river, you see thousands of people. They are jumping into the water, trying to grab the waves with their bare hands. They are gasping for air. They are being swept away by the current. They are exhausted. Now, look at yourself. You are on the bridge. You are the observer. A massive wave of price action rolls under the bridge. It is beautiful. It is powerful. The old you wants to jump. Your muscles tense. But the new you simply watches. You say to yourself, I see the move. I acknowledge its power. But it is not my move. Another wave comes. This one is even larger. The crowd on the bank is screaming with excitement. You stay on the bridge. You are waiting for one specific thing. A small, calm pool near the edge where the water matches your exact net. Until you see that specific pool, you do nothing. The river can flow for 100 years, and you have the infinite patience to wait on that bridge. Feel the peace of not having to jump. Feel the power of being the only person who is not wet, not tired, and not afraid. Part 14, the Professional's Pre-Market Ritual. FOMO is not defeated during the market hours. It is defeated at 6 a.m., long before the first candle is lit. The professional trader builds a mental armor through ritual. The no surprise analysis. The amateur wakes up, opens the laptop, and reacts to what they see. This is a recipe for panic. The professional has already mapped the battlefield. They have identified the if and then scenarios. If price reaches this level, I look for a setup. If price moves past it without a signal, I do nothing. By the time the market opens, there are no surprises. And where there are no surprises, there is no urgency. The identity statement. Before you touch your keyboard, speak your truth out loud. I am a professional risk manager. My edge is my patience. I would rather watch a move go to the moon without me than enter a trade that does not fit my rules. This is not positive thinking. This is programming. You are telling your subconscious brain which identity to activate for the next 8 hours. Part 15, the Psychology of Enough. Why does FOMO hurt so much? Because we are operating from a scarcity mindset. We believe that if we miss this trade, we are missing our big break. We believe that our wealth is tied to this specific 5-minute window. But let's look at the math of enough. If you simply avoid the big mistakes, the chases, the revenge trades, the over-leveraged FOMO entries, the natural edge of your system will take care of the rest. The professional isn't trying to get rich today. They are trying to be a trader for the next 30 years. Greed is the shadow of FOMO. Greed tells you that you need more than the market is giving. Patience tells you that the market will give you exactly what you deserve, provided you stay in the game. Ask yourself, if I never caught a moonshot again, but I followed my rules perfectly every day, would I be successful? The answer for an elite trader is always yes. Because the discipline is the success. The money is just a side effect. Part 16, The Cost of the Almost Win, Deep Dive. We must return to the almost win, because it is the primary cause of account blowouts. In psychology, this is known as the near-miss effect. In a casino, a slot machine that almost hits the jackpot creates a higher dopamine spike than a complete loss. It makes the gambler think, I'm close. The next one is it. The market does this to you. You see a setup. You hesitate. The price hits your target without you. Your brain registers this as an almost win. This creates a psychological debt. You feel like you have lost the money you never had. To repay that debt, you take the next trade, even if it's a bad one. You must realize, a missed trade is not a loss. Your account balance did not go down. You still have your capital. The only thing you lost was a hallucination of profit. Let the almost wins go. They are ghosts. They have no power over a man who knows how to wait. Part 17, The Physics of Price, Why Chasing is a Mathematical Trap. Let us step away from emotion for a moment and look at the cold, hard physics of the chart. When you feel the strongest urge to enter, the FOMO peak, the price is usually in a vertical expansion. In physics, what goes up fast becomes unstable. When a candle stretches far away from its mean or its moving averages, it is like a rubber band being pulled to its limit. The further it stretches, the more energy is required to keep it moving. By the time you, the retail trader, feel the urgency to click buy, the smart money has already stopped buying. They are now looking for liquidity to sell into. Your FOMO is that liquidity. If you enter at the peak of a move, your stop loss must be placed at the beginning of that move to be safe. This means your risk is massive. To make a 2:1 profit, the price would have to do something nearly impossible. Mathematically, by chasing, you are accepting a high probability of a small win and a low probability of a catastrophic loss. Professionals understand, urgency is a liquidity signal. They do not buy the run. They buy the pause. Part 18, The Externalization Protocol, Journaling the Demon. FOMO is a ghost that haunts the dark corners of your mind. As long as it stays inside your head, it has power over you. To kill it, you must bring it into the light. You must externalize it. I want you to keep a FOMO journal next to your trading station. Whenever you feel the urge to break your rules, you are not allowed to click the mouse until you write down 3 things. The physical sensation, my heart is racing, and my palms are sweaty. The lie, I am telling myself that if I don't buy this Bitcoin breakout now, I will never be rich. The reality, the price has already moved 3 ATRs. The risk to reward is broken. I am reacting to a feeling, not a setup. By the time you finish writing these 3 sentences, your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, will have woken up. The chemical spike of dopamine will have started to fade. You will look at the screen and see the trade for what it really is, a trap. Part 19, The Identity of the Casino. Amateurs trade like gamblers. They hope. They pray. They chase. Professionals trade like the casino. Does the casino get angry when a player wins a hand? No. Does the casino feel FOMO when a high roller walks away? No. The casino knows that over 1,000 hands, the math will always win. Your trading strategy is your house edge. But that edge only works if you play the game exactly the same way, every single time. If the casino started changing the rules every time they felt nervous, they would go bankrupt. When you feel FOMO, you are acting like the gambler. You are worried about the next hand. The professional, the casino, doesn't care about the next hand. They care about the next 1,000 trades. If you miss a trade today, it is irrelevant. In the grand math of your career, one missed move is a grain of sand on a beach. Part 20, Becoming Emotionally Elite. You are not here to catch every move. You are here to become emotionally elite. The market is a mirror. It will find your greed. It will find your impatience. It will find your need for validation. And it will use those things to take your money. To win, you must become a void. A place where the market's noise goes to die. When price moves fast, you become slower. When the crowd screams, you become silent. When the world feels urgent, you find your peace. The market will always exist. Your capital will not. Protect your mind, and your mind will protect your account. Part 21, The Rewiring, 50 Meditative Affirmations. Now, as we begin to close this masterclass, I want these words to sink past your ears and into your nervous system. Listen to them. Repeat them in your mind. Let them become your new operating system. I am not a hunter of trades, I am a guardian of capital. My bank account is a reflection of my discipline, not my predictions. I do not miss moves, I only miss setups that don't belong to me. A green candle is just data, it is not a call to action. I am most powerful when I am doing nothing. My stop loss is my best friend, it defines my freedom. I trade to express my character, not to pay my bills. The market is infinite, my capital is finite. I choose the market's longevity. I am the casino, I am not the gambler. Urgency is a lie told by the ego. I am comfortable with 0 sessions. I do not need to be right to be profitable. I release the need for social proof. My edge exists in my waiting, not my clicking. I am the master of my breath, and therefore the master of my trade. I forgive myself for past FOMO, today, I am born again. I love the boring days, for they are the safest. I am a professional risk manager disguised as a trader. I do not chase price, I let price come to me. Every missed move is a deposit into my discipline account. Part 22, The Physics of Exhaustion, the final lesson. Before we part ways, I want to give you a visual to carry in your mind forever. Imagine a runner sprinting up a steep hill. In the beginning, they are fast, powerful, explosive. This is the breakout you see on the chart. But as they reach the top, their lungs burn. Their legs grow heavy. Their speed drops. Here the amateur buys. They buy when the runner is about to collapse. The professional trader is the person standing at the top of the hill, waiting for the runner to fall over. When you feel FOMO, you are trying to join a runner who has no breath left. Wait for the rest. Wait for the breath. Wait for the pullback. If the runner never stops to breathe, let them run into the clouds alone. You do not want to be there when they fall. Part 23, The 1% Path. You have stayed with me for over 30 minutes. Do you know what that means? It means you have more patience than 90% of the people who call themselves traders. Most people turn this off after 10 minutes because they wanted a strategy or a secret indicator. But you stayed for the truth. You stayed to face the mirror. And that is why you will succeed. Trading is not a path to easy money. It is a path to self-mastery. The charts are just a canvas where you paint your own psychology. If you are fearful, the charts will show you fear. If you are greedy, the charts will show you greed. But if you are disciplined, the charts will show you the path to freedom. Go now. Close your laptop if you need to. Walk away from the screen. The market will be there tomorrow. It will be there in a decade. But your peace of mind? That is something you must claim right now. You are no longer a victim of FOMO. You are an observer. You are a professional. You are the calm in the storm. The trade is not the prize. The discipline is the prize. Go in peace. You now have the mind of a professional. But a mind without a weapon is just a dream. I have prepared a full playlist of my personal strategies that require the exact discipline we discussed today. Look for the link in the description or the end screen. Move there next.